Here's something that might sting a little. You're not lazy. You're not unmotivated. You're just spending your time on the wrong things. And look, I get it. Life gets busy. But here's what I've discovered after decades of studying human behavior. The difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck, it's not talent. It's not luck. It's how they spend their hours. Every single day, you're making choices about your time. And those choices are either building your future or quietly destroying it. Today, I want to talk to you about something that could genuinely change everything. Because once you see this, you can't unsee it. Years ago, I caught myself doing something embarrassing. I was complaining about not having enough time to write my next book. Meanwhile, I'd just spent 3 hours watching television. 3 hours. And it hit me like a punch to the gut. I wasn't short on time. I was short on honesty about where my time was actually going. That moment changed everything for me. See, we all tell ourselves these little stories. We say we're busy. We say we'll start tomorrow. We convince ourselves that scrolling through our phones is somehow relaxing, when really it's just stealing minutes we'll never get back. Here's the truth I had to face. Time doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It just keeps moving. And every day you waste is a day someone else is using to build something meaningful. The people who win at life aren't smarter than you. They just figured out one simple thing. Time is the only resource you can never earn back. Let me explain exactly how successful people think about their hours differently than everyone else. Let's get real for a moment. Some of you watching this right now are exhausted. You're tired. You feel like you're running on a treadmill that never stops, and somehow you're still not getting anywhere. You wake up, you go through your day, you collapse into bed, and then you do it all over again. And at the end of the week, you look back and think, what did I actually accomplish? Sound familiar? Here's what I've observed after studying people for over 40 years. Most folks aren't failing because they're lazy. They're failing because they genuinely don't understand where their time is going. It's like having a hole in your pocket. You keep putting money in and it keeps disappearing, but you never stop to check why. Let me paint a picture for you. The average person spends 4 hours a day on their phone. 4 hours. That's 28 hours a week. That's nearly 1,500 hours a year. Do you know what you could do with 1,500 hours? You could learn a new language. You could write a book. You could build a business from scratch. You could transform your entire body at the gym. But instead, we're scrolling. We're swiping. We're watching other people live their lives while ours quietly slips away. And look, I'm not judging you. I've done it too. There was a period in my life where I convinced myself that watching the news for 2 hours every morning was staying informed. You know what it actually was? It was procrastination wearing a clever disguise. I felt productive because I was learning things. But those things weren't moving my life forward 1 inch. Here's the thing that really bothers me about all this. We live in a world that's designed to steal your attention. Every app on your phone, every notification, every autoplay video. It's all engineered by very smart people whose entire job is to keep you distracted. And they're good at it, really good. They've got psychologists and behavioral scientists working around the clock to figure out how to hook your brain. So when you waste time, it's not entirely your fault, but it is your responsibility. Let me share something I noticed years ago. When I was researching body language for one of my books, I spent time observing people in airports. Fascinating places, airports. Everyone's waiting. Everyone's got time to kill. And what I saw was remarkable. About 90% of people were staring at screens. Phones, tablets, laptops, just consuming. But every now and then, I'd spot someone different, someone with a notebook, someone reading a physical book and taking notes, someone clearly working on something that mattered to them. I started calling them the 10%ers in my head. And here's what struck me. Those 10%ers didn't look stressed. They looked focused. They looked like they were going somewhere in life, not just to their next flight. The other 90%, they looked bored, restless, like they were killing time instead of using it. Which group are you in right now? Be honest with yourself, because here's the brutal truth. Every hour you waste is an hour you're giving to someone else's dream instead of your own. When you scroll through social media, you're making the platform owners rich. When you binge watch shows for hours, you're building the streaming company's empire. When you spend your lunch break complaining with co-workers, you're investing in absolutely nothing. Your time is currency, and most people are spending it like they've got an unlimited supply. You don't. None of us do. Now, here's where things get interesting. When I talk to successful people, and I've been lucky enough to meet quite a few over the years, they all share one thing in common. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's not even talent, though that helps. It's how they think about time. See, most people think of time as something that happens to them. It passes. It flows. It's this abstract thing that's always running out. But successful people, they think of time as a resource they control. Every single day, they wake up with 24 hours, and they treat those hours like they're managing a bank account. Would you walk around throwing $100 bills on the ground? Of course not. But that's exactly what you're doing when you waste hours on things that don't matter. Let me tell you about a conversation that changed how I think about this. Years ago, I was at a conference in America. I met this businessman, won't name him, but you'd know who he is. We were having dinner, and I asked him the question. Everyone asks successful people, "What's your secret?" And he laughed. He said, "Allan, there's no secret. I just decided early on that I would be ruthless about my time, ruthless. Most people protect their money but give away their time for free. I do the opposite. That stuck with me. Ruthless about time, not cruel, not unkind, just absolutely unwilling to let other people's priorities hijack his day." And I started watching how he operated. He had a system. Every meeting had a hard stop. Every phone call had a purpose. He didn't do quick catch-ups or just checking in conversations. If someone wanted his time, they had to explain why it was worth it. And you know what? People respected him more for it, not less. Here's the mindset shift I want you to make today. Stop thinking about time as something you find. Start thinking about it as something you create. Because here's what I know for certain. You will never find time to work on your dreams. You won't. There's no magical day coming where your calendar opens up and the universe says, "Here you go, mate, here's your chance." That day doesn't exist. You have to create time by eliminating the things that don't matter. Some of you might be thinking, "But Allan, I have responsibilities. I have a job. I have a family. I can't just drop everything." And you're right. I'm not asking you to neglect your duties. I'm asking you to look at the gaps between your duties and ask yourself what's filling them. Because those gaps exist, they're there. And right now, they're probably filled with social media or television or worry or gossip or mindless scrolling. What if you reclaimed just 2 hours a day? 2 hours. That's not crazy. That's not impossible. That's just waking up a bit earlier, or watching one less show at night, or spending your lunch break working on something instead of complaining about something. 2 hours a day is 14 hours a week. That's over 700 hours a year. You could build an entire new skill in 700 hours. You could change the trajectory of your career. You could write the book you've always talked about. You could get in the best shape of your life, but only if you shift your thinking. Time isn't something that happens to you. Time is something you spend. And like any spending, you can do it wisely or you can do it foolishly. I'll be honest with you. I wasted so many years before I figured this out. I was busy all the time. But busy doing what? Busy reacting. Busy responding. Busy putting out fires that other people started. And at the end of each year, I'd look back and feel this vague sense of disappointment. Like life was slipping through my fingers. It wasn't until I got serious about my time that things changed. And that seriousness started with one simple question that I now ask myself every single day. Is this the best use of my next hour? Not, is this okay? Not, is this fine? But is this the best? That question changed everything. All right, let's get practical. I've shared the problem. I've talked about the mindset. Now let me give you some tools you can actually use. Because understanding something intellectually is different from doing something practically. First thing, you need to audit your time. Before you can spend wisely, you need to know where you're currently spending. So here's what I want you to do. For 1 week, just 1 week, track everything you do. And I mean everything. Every scroll, every conversation, every show you watch. Write it down or use an app, whatever works for you. Most people who do this are horrified by what they find. They think they're working 8 hours a day, but they're actually working maybe 4 or 5 with quality focus. The rest is interruptions, distractions, and what I call productive procrastination. Things that feel like work, but aren't really moving you forward. Once you see where your time is going, you can make intelligent decisions about redirecting it. Second thing, protect your mornings. I've studied high performers for decades, and this is one pattern that shows up again and again. Successful people guard their mornings like treasure. They wake up before the world starts demanding things from them, and they use those quiet hours for their most important work. Now, I know some of you are saying, but I'm not a morning person. And look, I understand. I'm Australian. We like our sleep-ins too. But here's what I found. Most people who say they're not morning people have never actually tried being morning people. They've just accepted the label without testing it. What if you woke up just 1 hour earlier for a month? What would happen? You might be surprised. That hour when nobody's calling you, nobody's texting you, nobody needs anything from you, that hour might become the most productive part of your entire day. Third thing, learn to say no. This one's hard. I know it is, especially for people who want to be liked. But every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you're saying no to something that does. Your yeses have consequences. They fill up your calendar and your energy until there's nothing left for your own priorities. I've got a rule now. Before I commit to anything, I ask myself, would I be excited about this if it were happening tomorrow? Because when something's far in the future, it's easy to say yes. It seems abstract. But if it were tomorrow, would you still want to do it? If the answer is no, then don't say yes just because it's 3 weeks away. Fourth thing, batch your tasks. This is something I learned that dramatically increased my productivity. Instead of jumping between different types of work all day, group similar tasks together. Answer all your emails at once, not throughout the day. Make all your phone calls in one block. Do all your creative work in another block. Why? Because your brain takes time to switch between different types of thinking. Every time you shift gears, you lose momentum. It's like stopping and starting a car repeatedly. You burn more fuel than if you just drove smoothly. When I'm writing a book, I don't check email. I don't take calls. I sit down and I write until the session is done. Then I handle everything else. This simple change probably doubled my output. No exaggeration. Fifth thing, create what I call no negotiation time. This is time in your schedule that is completely non-negotiable. It's protected. It's sacred. Nobody gets to take it from you, no matter how important they think their request is. For me, my morning writing time is non-negotiable. I don't care if the Prime Minister calls. Actually, that's never happened, but you get my point. That time is mine, and because I protect it so fiercely, I actually get important things done. What's your non-negotiable time? What's the one thing you need to do consistently to move your life forward? Figure out what that is, block it in your calendar, and defend it with everything you've got. Sixth thing, review your day every evening. Take 5 minutes. Just ask yourself 2 questions. What went well today? And what would I do differently tomorrow? This simple practice creates a feedback loop. You learn from each day instead of just repeating the same patterns. Most people never reflect. They just do the same things over and over, wondering why their results don't change. Reflection is how you upgrade your approach. It's how you get better over time instead of just getting older. Now, let me be straight with you. None of this is easy. If managing time well were easy, everyone would do it. The reason most people struggle isn't because they don't know what to do. It's because doing it requires discipline, and discipline is uncomfortable. You're going to have days where you fall back into old patterns, days where you waste hours and feel terrible about it, days where the scroll is more seductive than the work. That's normal. That's human. The question isn't whether you'll stumble. You will. The question is whether you'll get back up. I've failed at this more times than I can count. There have been entire weeks where I did exactly the opposite of everything I'm telling you today. Weeks where I avoided important work, got sucked into distractions, and felt that familiar frustration creeping back in. But here's what I've learned. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. Consistency means getting back on track quickly when you fall off. The people who win at life aren't the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who mess up, notice it, and correct course before too much time passes. They don't let one bad day become a bad week. They don't let a bad week become a bad month. You're going to feel resistance. That voice in your head that says, I'll start tomorrow, or this is too hard, or what's the point anyway? That voice is normal. Everyone has it, but you don't have to obey it. Let me tell you about something I observed early in my career. I was working with a company, helping them understand body language in negotiations. And I noticed something about the most successful salespeople. They didn't have fewer bad days than everyone else. They had the same struggles, the same rejections, the same moments of doubt, but they recovered faster. They didn't wallow. They didn't make excuses. They just got back to work. That's the secret nobody talks about. Success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about recovering from failure faster than the people around you. So when you waste time, and you will, don't beat yourself up for days. Notice it, forgive yourself, and start again. The ability to start again is more valuable than the ability to never fail. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Your time is the most valuable thing you have, more valuable than money, more valuable than possessions, more valuable than almost anything else you can think of. Because time is the one thing you can never get back. You can earn more money. You can buy new things. But every minute that passes is gone forever. And right now, you're at a crossroads. You can watch this video, think that was interesting, and go back to doing exactly what you've always done. Or you can decide that today, not tomorrow, not next week, but today, is the day you start treating your time like the precious resource it actually is. Imagine where you could be 1 year from now if you reclaimed just 2 hours a day. Imagine the skills you could learn, the projects you could finish, the relationships you could deepen, the health you could build, the dreams you could turn into reality. That future is possible. It's not guaranteed, but it's possible, and it starts with a decision you make right now. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There's only this moment and what you choose to do with it. The people who achieve remarkable things aren't superhuman. They're just people who got serious about their time. They decided that their dreams mattered more than their distractions. They chose discipline when everyone else chose comfort. You can be one of those people. I believe that. I wouldn't be here talking to you if I didn't. So here's my challenge for you. Tonight, before you go to bed, write down the one thing that matters most to you right now. The one goal, the one dream, the one project that you've been putting off. Then write down when you're going to work on it tomorrow. Not sometime, an actual time. Block it out, protect it, and then do it. That's how change starts, not with grand plans and New Year resolutions. With one protected hour, one commitment kept, one day where you prove to yourself that your dreams are worth fighting for. Your time is ticking. It's always ticking. The only question is what you're going to do with the ticks you have left. Make them count.